away. It looks like we got a caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, my name is Dave.
Oh,
And
welcome to Smile More,
More Dave.
Dave.
thank you, thank you. This is a little embarrassing, but um, and I don't know how to say this, but I've been a school teacher now for about 22 years, and I'm thinking about changing careers, and I'm not sure if maybe it's a midlife crisis. My friends think I'm kind of nuts. I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I don't want to live all my years doing the same thing. Not that I don't enjoy helping people, but I think it's time to do something that I enjoy a little bit more.
And you said you've been working in education for 23 years.
Yeah, almost 23 now, 22 to be exact, but almost 23 as a teacher. And I'm just, again, just thinking about doing something a little different.
Like what? What do you have in mind? What are you feeling?
Well, well, it's always been one of those things where I've got a couple friends that are police officers, and
Okay.
they really enjoy it. But then I hear about all the violence, the craziness, and the things that they go through. But yet when they're loving it, they're loving it. So it's very rewarding. So and it's something that I've always thought about doing, but I'm not too sure if it's too late in the game for me at my age. You know,
How old are you?
I just turned 50.
Yeah. 50
Ah, I
is a
think
new
you
Yeah.
can
20.
explore
No.
it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got plenty of time to switch careers if that's something you're really looking forward to.
Okay.
It sounds like you've already talked to some people who are already in that field, correct?
Yeah, and they're the ones that are in favor of it. All my other friends are thinking, "No way, you're crazy. A, it's violent. B, you have job
Well,
security.
school
Why
can
would
be
you leave it?
violent
Why would you
too.
start?"
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, these
It's
days,
always,
exactly.
yeah, you can get a good fight, let alone, anything else.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right, but I think it's something you should explore because although education is your safety net, you can always come back to it. It's not like if you stop for a minute or you go do something else that's end all be all. You'll never get back
Right.
into it, especially if that's what your degree or your certifications, all that stuff is. That stuff don't go away. So
Well, it
Yeah.
does expire, so just make sure you keep paying on it because that's all you got to do. You're supposed to turn some
Oh,
hours
yeah.
in. You just
yeah,
pay your money and keep that up so you can have that in your back pocket.
Yeah, and I keep hearing these quotes. I just heard one last week that say only 3% of the entire population can actually say they love what they do.
hmm
Yes.
I
And I'm
believe
like,
that.
gosh, yeah. And that was just like, I want to be one of that that rare percentile that actually can say, hey, you know what, I like my job. And I
Right.
don't know how much longer I have in me. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, it was the retirement age was 55, and now it's upwards of 67. And I'm like,
hmm
well, okay, if I've got 17 plus years left, I'd like to do something that
Like
I would enjoy doing. I can get up in the morning and appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
they say, if you, what is it? You love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Right.
It's never worked. Exactly, exactly. And
Yeah.
again, I liked my career in the beginning, but it's something that's kind of like, eh.
Yeah,
I
we
think
all
it's and again this
transition. Yeah.
and this is gonna sound mean, but just I, many kids these days aren't as grateful and as appreciative
hmm
as they once were. So I feel like I'm not even
They're
really,
not.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
whole different generation. And I'm sure we had our
Yeah.
problems and the other generations had their problems. But, to teach children these days, not to mention like English teachers trying to teach like writing and you have shorthand text and it's just more difficult, I feel like. But
And the respect level, kids are different today in general than they were 10 years ago, let
yeah,
alone 20 years ago. It's
way
just
more
not the same.
exposure.
Yes.
But it's a whole
And
nother.
that's I think the older I get, the more mellow I get, but the more I also demand a little bit more respect. And
Right?
I sound like
Yep.
my parents do, of course, but
hmm
and that's all I'm asking. Value me and appreciate me from what I'm doing for what I'm doing for you, and just respect me. Don't walk all over me. Pay attention when I'm
Right,
talking. Just
right.
little
Right.
things.
But you do
Yep.
know, I don't think police officers, get the most respect neither.
No, I know, I
So I
know,
don't know, you might run into
I
that
know.
same issue.
I know, and it's a different caliber of people that are,
right.
usually in trouble, and
Adults,
I'm like,
have you worked with
yeah,
adults?
adults.
Yes.
hmm
Yeah,
Because
I
are you
know.
now? Are you secondary or what school age are you working with now?
Yeah, right now, well, substituting, so it's all over.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
yeah. So I'm like, well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And again, I'm sure it would have been fine, but like you said, it's a great point. Every generation has their problems, their issues, and
hmm
Mm.
and again, maybe it's just me getting older. I certainly was never like this 10 years ago. I could just,
Right.
the smallest thing, big deal, whatever.
Yeah,
You want to talk back?
yeah, my mother was very passionate with education and teaching, and after
Hmm.
20 some years, she lost her passion for I don't know what reasons, but switched over now to being an educational diagnostician, which is still in school, but it's special needs related. But she finished
Oh,
out
yeah.
her career there, and she felt renewed, and when it was time to do so. So I would recommend that. If you're not passionate about teaching, if you're not feeling it anymore, you'll do a disservice to yourself, to the school, to the children and everybody. So yeah,
Absolutely.
just make sure policing is the right next move.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. And I thought for sure, I'm like, man, maybe I'm way too old. But then a friend of mine's out in Vegas who said, no, 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 we just had a guy 56 jump on. I'm like,
See,
well, that's
Yeah.
okay.
I think the fire department has a limit though. But, yeah,
And
an
I
age
think
limit.
yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
it's a
because
little bit
fire
rough, a
is
little bit more.
Mm-hmm. But as long
Yeah,
as you got the determination, the will, and you feel like you can do it, and
Yeah.
that aspect isn't what's keeping you from doing it, then yeah, I say go for it. Like I say, you don't want no regrets. Now's the time if you feel like you
yeah,
can, and just knowing that you can always go back into education if that.
that's a great way to look at it. Thank you
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much.
And I've always thought, I guess, a more effective way or a possible way to let your community hear you better as a policeman is to kind of work where you grew up from. So therefore, it's more organic, and you know the people. I
Oh,
know it's probably
yeah.
not as easy as it sounds to maybe get on with this particular department or whatever. But if that is possible, I would recommend that.
Yeah.
That would be great because I do not want to switch. I don't want to go all the way to Vegas like my friend was suggesting. I don't really
Right? No.
enjoy it there. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little hot, a little bit. So I'd rather go to somewhere like, where I grew up, where I could kind of,
Right.
maybe a smaller town, a nicer community, not as crazy.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then I'm sure is
Right.
there are there I wonder if there's opportunities too in policing to where it's like volunteer work, or if you could first
Right.
become a security
That's
guard just to
great.
tap into it, to really
Get
make
your
sure
feet
you're
wet.
about that life, and
Yeah.
if you want to take that next
Yes.
level versus just diving straight into police force. But if you can pick up a security job or shadow somebody just to make sure you
That's a great idea.
go that
Not
route.
like,
But
yeah, or not, I want to say like a ride along, but just some kind of maybe follow someone's footsteps, like you
Yeah,
said, and see
mentoring.
how,
mhm.
Or
what they go
observing.
through, what their days are about. And if they come home even more stressed than I do, then maybe it's not a good
See,
idea.
Right? A day in
grass
the
ain't
life.
always greener. You
Hmm.
never
Yeah, and
know.
that's the problem I have. I'm
Yep.
always doing that, where I'm looking out thinking, well, he seems much happier than I do. What do I need to do?
Mhm.
How can I get to his level? Well, maybe why don't I switch careers? Why
We
don't
know
I?
people post
Yeah.
online their highlights. So
Oh
everybody got
man.
dirt. We
Yeah.
got flowers, but we got dirt too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess we all do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We
But
all
I
do.
applaud you for
Well,
even it being a thought, because most people just be like, this is my life.
Right. I'm
Wake
be
up,
miserable.
go to sleep, doing the same thing every day
Yeah.
without it even being a thought of
Right.
yes, and
self
that's yeah.
fulfillment.
Because you made a good
So
point. Happiness is really what you do for a living in your home life. Like, 'cause
In
that's
your
what
home.
you do majority. So if one of those are out of whack, you might need to plug up,
I
start getting
know
centered
the
in
home.
life.
Yeah, the home life is great, so I figured I need to fix something.
Nice.
You
Nice.
guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you.
I hope we helped
Yeah,
you.
have a great New Year, you guys. I'll let you know how it goes.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Hope you smile more.
Thank you. Cool. Bye.
Bye bye.
Peace. All right.